Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the One Piece card game. I'm continuing my EB01 set review. This is part 2 of 2, so don't worry, there's not going to be 5 or 6 of them this time because it's a very small set. I would recommend you check out the previous video for a lot of context, and also check out my Patreon for in-depth guides to decks. People have used them to get cereals before, so hey, you know, I guide others to a treasure I cannot myself possess, but I am cooking with this EB format, guys. You should check out the Patreon. There's going to be a guide going up there in the next week or two, so stay tuned. You're going to want to see it. Alright, let's go ahead and begin the video here, and we're continuing on. We're in purple. So, Caulifla, this card is fucking broken. Every single one of these Water 7 cards is fucking broken. And basically, much like I've said many times in the last video, a lot of these cards are objectively broken, and the only reason we are not moaning and groaning about them is because the leader is so bad that the deck is just casual, right? And, you know, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh! Does this all the time, where it prints, like, super broken cards for decks that are barely playable, and it makes them somewhat playable. So, like, fine. Here's one example. So this says, on play, Don -1, if your leader has the Water 7 type, add 2 character cards with a cost of 4 or less from your trash to your hand, right? Objectively, this is insane. Objectively, this is a +2. But, obviously, it's not seeing that much play. This card's extremely good. And it gets an alt art, which, of course, if you are a iceberg enthusiast, you should probably pick up. Okay, then we've got Army Wolves, an animal impel down, 5/7. So, there you go. Then we've got Blue Note. So, here is one of the 4 costs you might want to add back. This is a 4/5, Water 7, 1k counter, on play, Don -1. If your leader has the Water 7 type, play up to 1 Water 7 type character card with a cost of 5, other than Blue Note, from your hand or trash. Okay, like, fine, I guess. So, like, the iceberg deck goes, cool, turn 2 or whatever it is, or turn 2, if they go second, they can just hard play Blue Note, -1, play out Caulifla, which you just, I don't know, countered with, like, I don't know, it's so early in the game that you actually can't even get full value out of these cards, without just discarding your whole hand, but, like, it is absolutely ridiculous. Like, this card is crazy. This card reads, play out something else, and then you play with Caulifla, and Caulifla reads, add 4k counters to your hand. I don't know. Whatever. It's a self-recurring board, right? You only need one of them. You need one of them, and then all the others in your trash, you just go, boop, 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 play out, add, play out, add, play out, add. Then we've got Miss Wednesday. This card is amazing in Yerple Croc exclusively, and Yerple Croc is actually, well, who's to say, really? 3/4. 1k counter, blocker, on the opponent's attack, once per turn, Don -1. If your leader type includes Brokeworks, add up to 1 Don from your Don deck and set it as active. So, in blue-purple, this is fine, whatever. In Yerple, this is really good. This is a ramp. This is a ramp card you can play going on turn 2 going first, which you are more than happy to see. More than that, this is a really good ramp card. Like, your opponent kind of can't really play around it. There isn't actually a good way to deal with this, like, on curve, that doesn't involve attacking in the game at the moment. Like, fundamentally, there is, like, Sakazuki needs to attack to make it a 2 cost. Moria needs to attack to pop it. So, like, actually, there isn't really an easy way to deal with this without, like, just giving your opponent the value. And if you do deal with it without giving them the value, you've probably used some removal you should have been saving. So, yeah, this card's actually really solid. Then we've got Miss Monday. Oh, sorry. We've got Miss Monday. 3/5. On play, if your leader's typing... Oh, sorry, I should have said... Oh, no! What have I done? Oh, look at me. Silly me. Right, there we go. No, that wasn't trigger. I don't know what it was. If your leader's type includes Brokeworks, up to 1 of your leader or character cards against 1 during its turn, trigger plays this card. So, obviously, if you trigger play this, this is actually pretty good. If you hard play this, this is kind of terrible. I doubt it will ever see Minnow Chihuahua. This is a 4/5 with a Rush, and on KO, if your leader has the Impel Down type, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. So, yeah, I mean, this card's good. It's a Rush card in Impel Down. I guess worth flagging, it is a Rush card in OP08 King that you can just toss in and get a 4/5 Rush with Moria. Maybe that's worth one-offing? I guess. This card doesn't have counter though, so it's surprisingly balanced compared to some of the other ones. But of course, this card with like Sadie is very strong because you play the Sadie, play this out, you get your second swing, you bounce the Sadie, you ramp, it's all very nice. Okay, next we've got Mr. Nines. This is a 3/4 1k counter. On the opponent's attack, once per turn, Don -1. KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less. As you can imagine, this card is terrible. Terrible. Oh, come my way. This is the best card in the game. Don -1, if your leader's type includes Baroque works, select one of your characters, change the attack target to the selected character. The trigger is draw 2. Guys, no one is playing around this card, because no one is playing a relevant deck for it. And, you know, we mean about Yerple, no one's playing Yerple. No one's playing Blurple, certainly, as well. So, it's not coming up. If we ever get a viable blue-purple Baroque Works leader, Miss All Sunday, perhaps, this EB has 2 fundamentally broken cards that are going in it at 4 copies. That deck will be playable. It has to be playable. Surely. I'm coping. Surely. This card is stupid. Worth owning 4 copies in case it ever comes up. Then we've got Conqueror of 3 Worlds, Ragnarok! Because for some reason, it's the Japanese pronunciation of Ragnarok. Sure, why not? This card's insane. Don -1, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 8 or less. Trigger ramps. So, for 5 to just KO an 8, it's already pretty good. But you've got to put this card in the context of OP08 King, which I appreciate is a lot of future sight, but King says Don -2 gives something -2 cost, so you can now just kill 10s with a searchable event. Great! This card's very, very powerful. You will want to have some copies laying around. And then on to black. So here we have Kiros. This is the leader I was most excited for. It's probably the worst one. This is black-yellow, dress rated, activate main once per turn, turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face up, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 0. I'm obviously memeing, by the way, when I say this is the worst one. So fundamentally, this effect is broken, right? Like, objectively, this is like, you should not be putting very easy to access removal on like leader effects they can kind of just use. I think it's bad game design. Fortunately, the cards in the deck are not that good, so at the moment it's fine, but that could change at any moment. The alt art is very nice. My man, Kiros the Goat. I will be copying this. So we've got a Crocus here. He's just big. Then we've got Scarlet. So this is a Rebecca support card. So this is a 2-cost, 0 power, 1k counter. Activate main. You can trash this character. Play up to 1 Dressrosa type character card with a cost of 3 or less, other than Scarlet, from your hand rested. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. So this is really nice. You combo with Kiros, and you're able to pop a 4 cost with Kiros, which is obviously a 3 cost with Kiros, not 4 cost, which is obviously pretty nice. It's not really that good though. And it's a 2 cost, so you can't do some Becca shenanigans. So I think they were trying to balance this. I think the intention was they knew 8-cost Mario existed, so what they wanted you to do was like play this out with 8-cost Moria, go like Becca, Hina, like Scarlet of Moria, proc Scarlet, and then you just pop a big thing. And it's a good combo, don't get me wrong, it's good. And like Rebecca is absolutely playable in OP07, but like it's not a crazy battle. Spandine, this card is nuts, and I said this when it came out, because this card bridges into like all the CP 4 costs. So this basically just lets you Moria and just get a free blocker, right? Like, so it says, on play, you may place 3 cards with a type including CP from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. Play up to 1 character card with a type including CP and a cost of 4 or less, other than Spandine, from the trash rested. So essentially, this is a card that lets you cheat out a 4 cost, which is fine. It's fairly expensive in the context of the deck, but the big thing is on your Moria turns, when you go, okay, I'm on 8 Don, play Moria, you can go play Rebecca, play like Helmeppo. Helmeppo gives something -3 cost. Rebecca, salvage, play Spandine. Spandine, play Lucci. So now you're popping a 5 cost. You're also getting a Becca blocker. You're also getting 2 fodder units that you can sack off on your next turn when you start slamming down your Stussies. So it's just a really powerful card. And I said it was very, very good, and I was right. Then we've got Funkfried. This card is very, very bad. I'm not even going to talk about it. I mean, okay, it's basically like way more niche Machino that isn't a 2k counter for some reason. Then we've got Brook. This is the bad Brook, because there's another Brook. So this is a 3/4 run by pirates, 1k counter. On play, if your opponent has a character with a cost of 0, this character gains rush during this turn. Actually, I say bad. This could be quite scary because you can just salvage it back off Becca. And again, we all know how like good that can be. And frankly, if you are able to like just Ice Age Becca and bring out like this Brook, you can close out a game. It's probably bad though. It's very unlikely to matter. There is a much better Brook, which is this Brook. So this Brook is Straw Hat Crew traded. He's a 3/4, 1k counter, same as the other one. On play, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. Then K up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. So this card is extremely strong. And the reason this card is extremely strong is functionally, in the context of like every black deck, this card turns Rebecca into Bob Gucci. Because realistically, off of Lucci, you are really only getting value of popping one thing nowadays, especially with the Mario combos. And most of the time, you are able to like hit with the 1 cost. Now, I say functionally, like it's certainly worse, but it gives you that versatility and lets you go, okay, if I need to hit something, I can play the Lucci. But if I can afford to hit something slightly smaller, now I get a blocker out of it. This card's really, really good. I think every black deck is going to end up playing it. Like every black deck should, like almost every black deck plays Rebecca. I think it's really, really powerful. Do not sleep on this card. It's also on play and on attack. So if it doesn't get dealt with, it's going to be sitting there and it's going to be giving you a massive headache. So yeah, this card's really, really good. Then we've got Laboon. This is a bad Laboon. Once per turn, when a character is KO'd, draw 1 and trash 1. Again, feels like something they've designed to combo off of Moria. And then we've got Big Laboon. Great alt art. This is a 4/5, 1k counter. Activate main, rest, give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during this turn. This card's pretty good. Again, in the context of Kyros, just pop a 4 cost, right? Nice. The fact it taps itself is kind of rough because your opponent can just swing into it and then you're losing resources, so that's not great. So I think this card's okay. It's, you know, it's worth bearing in mind that it exists because it always could come up. Then we've got T-Bone. Alt Art! Yes! Alt Art 2k counter in black. So this card basically only exists because they printed Tashigi and then they were like, oh shit, now they can't play the Alt Art Tashigi because Tashigi can't touch Tashigi, so let's give him a new one. Let's give him another 2k counter. And for some reason it's good. It's a 5/5 2k counter that says on play, K up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less. It's actually just good. Like, sometimes that actually can save you a game. Like, you know, Ice Age T-Bone, pop a 7 on 6, like, for 6 on, and then you just, like, swing for game or some shit. Like, I don't know. It could come up, you know, you pop a 4 with, like, greater option. I don't know. It's actually just quite good. The alt art is gas. And this is the final step of your fully blinged out Sakazuki deck. I'm talking to myself here. Until it's banned. I want to live. This card's terrible. If you have 30 or more cards in your trash, you heal 1. But like, when are you ever going to have that? Also, it's counter timing. Finger Pistol. This card is really good. It hasn't really seen play, but it is very good. It's a 4 cost. You may trash 2 cards on top of your deck, KO 5. The trigger activates the main. So, like, you're popping a 5 cost, which is obviously very, very good. Lucci means you're popping a 6 cost. And this is searchable. So, I think this card's pretty decent. On to yellow, and we've got just a whole host of broken cards. Like, yellow absolutely has the best cards in the set. It's not even close. So Viola, blocker, on play, look at all your opponent's life and stack them however you want, or flip all your life cards face up, so face down. So this card is very, very good in BY Luffy because now you can just heal 2 and then just like actually just heal 2. You don't need to do any bullshit with like Moria where you just like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to 0 life and I'm blocking all my stuff. No. You can just go heal 2 and, yeah, I'll be a 5k base. Okay. It's okay. You can also, if you don't play A-Cost Moria out, like, have some insane turn where you commit a lot from hand, where you just, like, if you've got, like, 2 babies and 4 things in your drop that you can get out, you go leader effect. Well, I guess you have to have it stacked. So it's not really doable, but, like, if you've got like Hiyori and you know like the life or something, or you know Makino, you know what your life is, you can go like, oh, play them out, proc. Now I'm 9k. Leader effect, Viola, flip them face down. Now I'm 9k with 2 life. What are you gonna do about it? But realistically, you just get to heal 2, and then like your opponent can swing into your 5k base, but it's fine because you just heal 2. Anyway, as a block. Point is very, very good. And also the other effect. Holy shit! I just get to put all your good cards like wherever I want them, and I know exactly what's coming. Yes, good yellow game design. Yeah, very nice. Alt art is also great. Then we've got Gastino, 3/5, on play. Place up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 3 or less at the top or bottom of your opponent's life cards face up. And the trigger gives 2 of your opponent's leader or character cards -3k during this turn. This is definitely a underplayed toxic trigger for sure. I can see the trigger being really annoying. It's situationally better than beige and situationally worse than beige, right? But yeah, this is it doesn't have counter, and I think if it had counter, it might see. Maybe it just needs to be experimented with. I don't know. I think this trigger is quite powerful, so it could be worth it. Anyway. Then we've got Ganfall. This is a 3/4, 1k counter, blocker. On play, if your opponent has 1 or less life, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 3 or less. This is a decent trigger. A decent on play. It's a blocker. It's a searchable blocker for Sky Island, so that's why it potentially comes up. Fortress Yamato plays this, I think, because you can just cheat. You can just get out with Kid. It's a blocker, and it can potentially pop 3 cost or less, so it's relevant. It comes up. 7/9 vanilla. Then we've got probably the best yellow card in the set. Flampe. This is a 1/1, 2k counter, on play, add a card from top or bottom of your life to your hand, draw 1. I could be here for a very long time explaining all the combos this card enables, explaining all the different things that like the reach this card gives you, the silly things you can do. It's very good. It's, I think, primarily designed for the Three Brothers decks because this is going to let you access cards in your life when you need them. This is going to let you just go to 0 and start cooking with your Luffy effect when you need to. It's just very, 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 very good. Very, very, very good. Very good. Next, we've got Shirahoshi Blocker. This is another insanely good card. Terrible into Sakazuki, amazing into everything else. This is a 2-cost 0k blocker, 1k counter. Blocker, when it's KO'd by an opponent's effect, heal 1. Great. So, obviously, if you can bot deck it, fantastic. If you can bounce it, fantastic. But if you are not RP Law or Sakazuki, or some random blue bullshit, you have to just swing big enough that the yellow player uses it. And that's really annoying. Because it turns out yellow players can have quite big hands, seeing as like they're healing all the time and they're happy to just take damage. So yeah, this card is very, very good. Slept on for sure. I think this card's very, very strong. Then we've got Footman. This card is bad. Kingdom Come. What were they thinking? Yeah, this is an NL support card that just lets you pop anything. It was kind of needed because I don't really know how NL outs like stuff like 9 Zoro or like, you know, just big stuff in general. I say needed. I hate yellow being good, so it wasn't needed. But yeah, you can also just use this at a point in the game where you're not even really paying the cost, seeing as you can just take the damage earlier, right? And again, the deck just heals, so like you just go down to 1, then like the next turn you go cool like Karakuri, or like cool like Yamato, or like in set 7 you go cool Ace, right? Like anyway. And then trigger is the KO of one of your opponent's characters at the cost equal to or less than the total of your and opponent's life cards. So if you take this as a trigger early, you can just pop their biggest thing for free, which is obviously very, very good. So yeah, this card is very strong. And then someone say Kami. I don't know what they were thinking with this card. So it's, you cheat out a 7-cost Enel and then trash cards top of your life until you have 1 life card. So and you do it from hand or trash, so you can like discard the 7-cost Enel with like the 0-cost event or something, and then like go cool Kami, and the triggers draw 2 trash 1. So like it's a good trigger too. It's like a slightly worse Shirahoshi. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is really interesting. I'll say. I think this card is great at like 1 or 2 copies, where you then just go like on a kill turn, you can just go like, oh, actually jam this. So like, and you just surprise them with an extra 7k swing out of nowhere that they might not be expecting. So yeah, I think this card's good. Yeah, Enel. And then finally we have the secret rare, which is I'm so mad this didn't get in the manga, but I'm also glad because my wallet would have been ended. Bonclay, this card is so good. This is a 4/1, 1k counter. On play, Rampadon is active. Completely generic, just do it. When attacking, select up to one of your opponent's characters. This character's base power becomes the same as selected character's power during this turn. This card's crazy. The reason is because now your opponent is just not allowed to play anything big, because otherwise your Bonclay is just like swinging huge for free. And big classifies as like 6k or above. Even 5k is like annoying because like this 4/1, which is ostensibly balanced, is just like not. It's just a 4/5 that says rampant active and it has counter. I don't know if you guys knew, but the current RP law 4/5 that ramps at rest and does not have counter. So they would have absolutely played, like if they're playing that shit, like this card's nuts. Really, really, really powerful card. And again, I'm coping for a good Blurple Croc leader eventually. but this is the third one of the trifecta of broken Baroque work cards that like exist in this set, and the deck is still unplayable, so what can you do? But there we go. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, please like it, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece card game content, in particular, lots of EB stuff. If you go over to my Patreon right now, as you're seeing this, my EB tier list is up, and it's got a lot of very in-depth thoughts. A lot of testing has gone into it, so do check that out. And of course, as I've alluded to, there is a guide going up in the next week or two that will be for early in the format, certainly. That's basically just going to drop the source on what I think is like really, really underrated kind of broken deck that is like you're going to get highly rewarded for playing, in my opinion. We'll see. I've tested it quite extensively. So if you're interested in that, check out the Patreon, linked in the description. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers.